Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Really, it's my privilege, my pleasure, my honor to be in your presence. Those of you here in our room, those watching on TV or DVD, those listening on CD, thank you very much for being here. You're part of my motivation. Your being here gives me more motivation to present. It kind of energizes me. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. I have the pleasure to present to you Prescribing Optimal Thoughts for Optimal Health. Prescribing Optimal Thoughts for Optimal Health, the NIA perspective. NIA stands for the Nerenberg International Association for Holistic Medicine and Psychology. The Nerenberg International Association for Holistic Medicine and Psychology. And the theme of the NIA, well, it's two. You have psychology coming together with holistic medicine. But the theme is thoughts are medicine. Thoughts are medicine. We know that the allopathic drugs, so many wonderful drugs like metformin and Plavix and many other wonderful drugs that are so helpful to keeping many people alive and healthy, people all know about those as prescription. We also know that diet and food is a medication. Food supplements, herbs. And recently, in the last 10 years or so, we understand that exercise is a medication, help control blood sugar levels necessary for cardiovascular health. That exercise is like a magic bullet, practically, of a medication. But we've known for a long time that your attitude and the thoughts you have are going to affect your prognosis. If people are having positive thoughts and optimistic attitude, they do better after surgery. They have a better prognosis for whatever the illness is, cancer or any other illness. Is enhanced with a positive attitude. So the next logical step is to go, well, I'll write you a prescription. I want you to take this medication. I want you to take this Lipitor. I want you to take lisinopril. I want you to take metformin for this. I'm going to give you this thought. And here's a thought. I'm going to prescribe a thought for you. Repeat this thought 3 times a day. Because it's going to affect your attitude, it's going to affect your prognosis. And we're going to talk about, well, what are these optimal thoughts? I've talked about them in other lectures. We're going to review them today. So there's a prescription pad. Here's your prescription for your medication. I want you to exercise twice a day. Do some weightlifting, some cardio, just 10 minutes of workout. Go for walks, and then here's your thought. You write out a prescription pad, and here's your prescription. What thought you giving me, Doc? Oh, I'll be fine. I'm grateful. Okay, I'll be fine, and I'm grateful. So we're going to go into what these thoughts are. Very healing thoughts, extremely healing. So, when we talk about optimal health, why am I using the word optimal? I'm using the word optimal as compared to normal. For example, normal blood sugar, fasting glucose level is under 100. That's called normal. But if it's 95, you're more prone to Alzheimer's. If it's over 85, your life expectancy is shortened. But it's normal. Okay? Who wants normal? Nobody. Not when you understand the difference between normal and optimal. Optimal is 75 to 85 in terms of optimizing your lifespan with health. So the optimal glucose level, fasting glucose level, is not under 100. It's 75 to 85. That's how that goes. Vitamin D. If you're vitamin D deficient, which, by the way, most of you are, unless you take vitamin D supplements, you're out in the sun a lot, but the vitamin D supplements could help enormously. If you're over 30, it's called normal. But if it's under 50, you're going to have a shortened lifespan. And vitamin D deficiency, by the way, you're more prone to every illness there is, cardiovascular disease, cancer, arthritis, diabetes. So over 30, you're still prone. If it's under 50, you're going to have a shortened lifespan. So you want optimal. What's the optimal in vitamin D? 50 to 80. 100 is toxic. 50 to 80. Now, you look at cholesterol, under 200 is normal. But optimal is under 150. If it's under 150, you can't build up plaque. Your LDL, your bad cholesterol, normal is under 150. But if it's under 80, you don't build up plaque. So you really want optimal LDL, under 80, and optimal cholesterol under 150 to prevent plaque development in your arteries, which clogs up the arteries. Your TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, released from the pituitary gland to stimulate the thyroid to produce more T4 and T3, and T3 being the active form, the biologically, metabolically active form that you need. Well, anything under 4 is considered normal, but optimal is 1 to 2 on your TSH. Optimal blood pressure, 115/75. So nobody should be satisfied with being normal. You should only be satisfied with being optimal. And so, to have optimal health, you really want, well, what are the optimal thoughts? As holistic practitioners, or MDs, or psychologists, or psychiatrists, or nurses, massage therapists, acupuncturists, DOs, naturopathic doctors, doesn't matter. You want to be able to prescribe the optimal thoughts. And I spent 45 years. I've been in practice for 45 years. I'm 75 years old. And I spent 45 years developing the optimal thoughts. And also developed what I call the pledge as a medical intervention. That was the title of last week's lecture. So we're going to be reviewing the pledges. We're going to be reviewing the optimal thoughts. And then we're going to talk about the mechanism where these optimal thoughts actually can affect your genetic expression. Remember this, your genes that you have some genes, that's what you inherit, and some of those genes are prone towards making you ill, or some of those genes are prone to giving you a long, healthy life. But it's not so, it's one thing what genes you have. More importantly, what genes are expressed. If you have a cancer gene and it's suppressed, it's not a problem. If it becomes expressed, you have a problem. The p53 gene, that protects you from the cancer. So you want to have optimal expression of your healthy genes and optimal suppression of your disease-causing genes, your life-shortening genes. Well, one mechanism that happens is epigenes on the membrane of all your cells that were called epigenes. And these epigenes are always communicating with your genes, turning them on, turning them off. Some are expressed, some are suppressed through those epigenes. And how do we affect the epigenes? One important way are our thoughts. They're very responsive to language. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We're talking about thoughts. Your thoughts will speak to your epigenes, which will affect your genetic expression. And part of that process, and many documented processes, including carbon methylation, where a protein attaches to the chromosome, which can affect whether it's turned on or off. So it's been well documented the different mechanisms in terms of the epigenetic expression affecting your genes. So we're going to talk about, well, what are these optimal health factors, optimal thoughts to produce optimal health? Optimal thoughts for optimal health. This is cutting edge. We're now ready, holistic medicine and psychology, we're now ready for considering thoughts as a medication, and of course then prescribing thoughts. I've been prescribing thoughts for many years, for decades now, but I finally perfected it and put it together in an excellent system that I call the Nerenberg Legacy Therapy Model. And the foundation of the Legacy Therapy Model is this. There's 3 factors. Enshrined within your deepest struggle is the seed of your nobility, your destiny, and your legacy. Enshrined within your deepest struggle is the seed of your nobility, your destiny, and your legacy. And many people's deepest struggles, you have marital struggles, you have financial struggles, you have legal struggles. But when you're diagnosed with a cancer or cardiovascular disease, you've had a heart attack, one of your biggest struggles in life is staying alive. It becomes a full-time job. So for many people, staying alive is their deepest struggle, not getting another heart attack, taking care of their cancer. And enshrined within that is the seed of your nobility, destiny, and legacy. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer 15 years ago, the urologist said, Dr. Nerenberg, you tested positive for prostate cancer. And you don't have a little bit, it's an intermediate amount, and it's somewhat aggressive. It's a Gleason of 7. And I felt my face go numb, and I said, that's great, doc. And he said, what? I said, that's great. I said, this prostate cancer will make me stronger spiritually, emotionally, and physically. because I was already preparing myself. I was already prescribing and developing the thoughts for optimal health. And I got to tell you, that was a period of tremendous joy for me. It really was. I was so appreciative of the beauty of God's creation. I felt so much love for people. Some kind of veil just lifted. I felt so connected to everybody. And when they're wheeling me in a gurney to cut up my prostate, I'm joking around with the anesthesiologist. He's laughing. I cut up my prostate, and there I was. And I took the title, when I had the prostate cancer, of strongest drug-free man in the world for my age and my weight when I was 65 years old. 3 months later, I was still incontinent. I'm wearing a diaper. I flew to New Jersey to compete in a drug-free bench press contest. The only athlete to ever wearing a diaper. We had a great laugh. The next day, I set a world record and flew back to California. Then I kept, then when I was 71, 6 or 7 years later, I set a world record on the power pull-up, hung 140 pounds from a chain belt and did a pull-up. So the physical power just kept growing. But look at that story. It's like, instead of saying, oh, poor me, you know, I have this prostate cancer. Whatever condition a person has, it is what it is. You can either just fold under it, or you can say, I'm going to get stronger from it. And so a great thought is, hardship makes me strong and I'm grateful. Or in the case I was very specific, this prostate cancer will make me stronger spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And it did all of that. It did. And so when people are applying these thoughts, I have to tell you something, the people in holistic medicine and psychology, all of us have to walk the walk. We can't just tell our patients to do this. We have to apply it to ourselves, using these thoughts ourselves. And you're going to see the pledge to be a disciple of honor, the pledge for optimal health for the wellness warrior. You're going to see these pledges, which makes a deeper lifetime commitment to these thoughts. So you're prescribing a thought, you're giving a pledge. People are going to commit to a lifetime of using the thoughts. Very powerful. It's a beautiful system. And I'll tell you something else. You don't have to convince anybody that these thoughts are healthy for them. 90% of the people will take the pledge just like that. Say, here are the thoughts, 4 commandments of honor, the four laws for optimal health for the wellness word. You want to take that pledge now? You want to think about it? 90% go, I want it now. Now, if somebody's about to have a prostate surgery or they're just coming out of a heart attack, you might get 100% want to take it. When people are vulnerable, it's sort of like soldiers in a foxhole. They say there are no atheists in the foxhole. It makes a believer out of you. When bullets are coming at you and the shells are exploding around you, oh yeah, I want the pledge. So when people are facing the possibility of their deaths, and anytime you have surgery, people are looking at the possibility of their death. They want this pledge, they want these thoughts, and you don't have to talk anybody into it. They recognize the truth of them. As we go over these thoughts, you'll see. So we talk about, but we have to understand, within the legacy therapy model, the nature of identity. Within the legacy therapy model, the Nerenberg legacy therapy model, identity is defined not by the thoughts you have. See, the thoughts that you have, oh my God, I'm getting a pain. Oh God, I'm getting a heart attack. See, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I'm dying. Oh God, I'm so worried. Should I call the doctor? I called the ambulance. It's about a 2. Take some nitroglycerin. Maybe I should take some carvedilol, or maybe I should take some clonidine. This thing's getting bigger. So there's those thoughts. That's real. Those are natural things. You try to figure what to do. But, you know, that story is, and it's a common story for anybody who's had a heart attack. That's a common story. That includes me. I had a heart attack 15 years ago. Thank God I survived it. That's a natural thing to be telling yourself. Having those thoughts. But you have to realize that the other thoughts that are healing, and one of the thoughts for the wellness warrior is, I'll be fine and I'm grateful. Or, God, your wish is my only wish. And then there's a couple of corollaries. God, if you wish me to gain great abundance, I wish to have great abundance. But if you wish me to lose everything, including my life, then God, I want to lose everything, including my life. You have to go there. The only way to take the fear out of your death, you have to find a way to go there and say, you know, God, if you want me to lose my life, I want to lose it. If you don't go there, you're going to say, oh, not me, Lord. Oh, please. Oh, God. Oh, God, help me. You can go there. Yeah, you can go there. There's no nobility in it. But you go, God, you wish is my only wish, which is the first commandment of the four commandments of honor, for the disciples of honor. God, you wish is my only wish. And the derivative is that, God, if you wish me to lose everything, including my life, I wish to lose it. You follow me? If you don't go there, then the other thing is just whining, complaining, and screaming, and just, there's no dignity. There's no nobility. Which would you have more respect for yourself? The person whining, complaining, oh, God, why? Or, God, your wish is my only wish. If you wish me to lose everything, then, including my life, then I wish to lose it. I'm going to do all I can to stay alive, but if you wish me to lose it, I wish to lose it. Which do you have more respect for, truthfully? How many feel the first one? How many feel the second one? You have more respect. Everybody has more respect. It brings self-respect, dignity. You die with some dignity. So anybody going through a medical situation has that in their mind. That's a natural thing to do. But now, you're getting thoughts, oh, poor me, comes into your mind, and you get the thoughts, you know what? I'm going to get stronger from this. Now, which one are you? The one, oh, God, oh, Jesus, terrible. You get that thought. Or are you the thought, oh, this hardship makes me strong. I'm going to get stronger from this. Which one are you? Let me answer that for you. The thoughts that pop into your mind do not define who you are. That's based on your genetics, your family upbringing, societal norms. It's not you. You never would have chosen those thoughts. You never would have chosen the thoughts, oh, God, not me. Oh, no, Lord, not me. Please, let it be somebody else. You never chose that. It just popped in your mind. No, you're the thought you choose to have. And the thought you're going to choose to have, that I'm going to give you these optimal thoughts that we reviewed before we're going to go over today, they bring a nobility to you. So you're the thought, your identity is based on the thought you choose. You need to get that. You are the thoughts you choose to have. If you have a thought, I just want to strangle this son of a gun, he's always offending me. But then you say, I wish you well, my brother. What the heck? I wish you well. Who are you? The guy who wants to just kill the guy, or the well-wisher? You're the well-wisher because that's the thought you chose. The other thought just popped in your mind. You never would choose these angry, violent thoughts. They just give you a heart attack. In fact, people who are prone towards anger have more cardiovascular events of strokes and heart attacks. That's a fact. So you need to know your identity. I'm here to tell you, within the Nerenberg legacy therapy model, your true identity is the thought you choose to have. And when we're prescribing optimal thoughts for optimal health, we're saying here, these are the best thoughts for you. These will heal you. This will bring you dignity and nobility and release your destiny and your legacy. So we start with what we've talked about before, is the pledge to be a disciple of honor. The 4 commandments of honor, I used to call them all power thoughts when I developed it years ago, but then I put 4 into the 4 commandments of honor, 25 into the 25 laws of honor. Then I developed the 4 laws for optimal health for the wellness warrior. So the first law, the first commandment of honor is, God, your wish is my only wish. Now, a person doesn't want to address God, they can go, I seek always to serve my highest values. That's the first law, the first commandment. God, your wish is my only wish. Or if somebody doesn't want to address God, I seek always to serve my highest values. I find probably 80 or 90% of my people, my patients, take God, your wish is my only wish. But I have those people, no, I seek always to serve my highest values. The second commandment is, I wish you well. So that's very healing. It helps release our resentments, our angers, which is also healthy because those resentments and angers will interfere with your sleep, will interfere with your digestion, will cause very bad epigenetic communication to your genes. So I wish you well. The third is, I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. So you're not just a victim. This empowers you, saying, I'm in this situation 99% of the time because you co-created. You did something to help. You didn't create the whole thing, but you did co-create it. And then last, hardship makes me strong and I'm grateful, or the one that we use, I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. So you're going through a hardship. Could be, by this time we're focusing on medical hardship. I mean, mine was a hardship with heart attack, prostate cancer, then I went to labile hypertension. I still get sometimes spikes in my blood pressure, although I've got under pretty good control between the thoughts, exercise, diet, and allopathic medicines. But you have those 4 commandments of honor. So then you have, your patient can take the pledge. Now we found the pledge, when people take a pledge to repeat these 3 times a day for the rest of their lives, 100% of people feel good taking it, 100% of people feel more hopeful, and 95% of people feel more meaning in their lives. So right away you've got a medical intervention, the pledge. So raise your right hand, this is how the pledge goes. As a disciple of honor, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the 4 commandments of honor, and I'll teach them to those I love. I'll repeat them every morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll listen to myself recite them. And you say, welcome to the brotherhood, welcome to the sisterhood. See, a patient just took that pledge. At least 90% are going to do it. So you can already give them pre-written, or you just write it out, so here are your thoughts. It could be a nurse, a doctor, a DO, different kind of doctor, psychologist, whatever. Disciples of honor. And then probably 20 or 30% do teach it to those they love. Their wife takes the pledge, or their husband takes the pledge, their kids take the pledge. It's very powerful. We talked about the pledge as a medical intervention last week. Then we have the pledge for optimal health for the wellness warrior. I'll be fine, I'm grateful, or you can go, I'll be fine, I'm grateful, thank you, God. I can and I will. I take full responsibility for my health now and always, or I take responsibility for co-creating my health and my illness. Take responsibility for co-creating my health and my illness. And lastly, I'll come back stronger than ever. I use that one a lot. I've had so many injuries. I'm a world champion powerlifter, world champion bodybuilder. I've had so many injuries from my lifting. And I'm going to come back stronger than ever. And partly to my surprise, it's held up to be true. I mean, I go with that, I repeat it, and it's amazing. It's been happening. And I've had some doozies. And I do come back stronger than ever. So those are the 4 laws for optimal health for the wellness warrior. So you can use one or both. So that pledge goes this way. Raise your right hand. As a wellness warrior, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the 4 laws for optimal health for the wellness warrior. Health for the wellness warrior. And I'll teach them to those I love. I'll repeat them every morning, afternoon, and evening. And I'll listen to myself recite them. You go, welcome to the brotherhood of wellness warriors. Welcome to the sisterhood of wellness warriors. Now, about 20% of people prefer to use that over the disciples of honor. 80% prefer the disciples of honor. Some people want to use both. I think that's a lot to be using, but these are just tools in your toolkit as holistic medicine, for holistic medical practitioners and psychologists. These are tools for you. And then for you who are practicing on yourselves and your families, this gives you more options. Then you have the 25 laws of honor. And by the way, I told you the foundation is enshrined within your deepest struggle, is the seed of your nobility, your destiny, and your legacy. And there are 2 factors that contribute to making that seed grow. 1, all things work for good for those who seek the good. If you seek the good, you're going to find it, even within your illness. Like I did with my prostate cancer. All things work for good for those who seek the good. And hardship makes me strong and I'm grateful. I call that the warrior's law, the warrior's power thought. Those 2 feed that. Feed the main principle for the legacy therapy. But it's all based on a power that you have that you take for granted. The power of volition. We're the only species that can actually choose our thoughts. And you can do this with your patients and say, you've got a tremendous power you take for granted. What's that, doctor? I'm going to show you. And you can demonstrate it in 5 seconds, this power. You ready? You ready for me to demonstrate to you this power? Okay, right now, have a pleasant memory. It could be something you ate today that you liked, or somebody you saw that you loved, some pleasant memory. Have that thought now. Now, I don't have to ask you whether you did it. You did it rapidly, naturally, flawlessly, and you can do it every time. You can replicate this anytime. And you know what? A 6-year-old can do it. Only humans can choose our thoughts. No other species. They have problem solving, they have emotions, their stimulus response, but only we can choose our thoughts. But look what you did. Prior to my asking you to do that, you weren't thinking about it. It came out, I don't know, pop, there it was. And now that I'm talking to you, it's disappeared again. So boom, there it was, it's gone. And look what you did. You chose the polarity. It was a pleasant memory. It was positive. It's incredible. You chose at will a positive thought. And you chose the time dimension. It was the past. So this is the foundation principle of the whole that Nerenberg legacy therapy model. Right now, have this thought 3 times. I wish you well. 3 times have that thought. I know you did it. You can do it every time, all day long if you want to. You can actually tell yourself what thought to have and how many times to have it. Now, that's an amazing power. As practitioners of holistic medicine and practitioners of psychology, we can demonstrate this in seconds to the patient. So they don't have to feel so powerless. Look, you have this power to choose your thought. Whenever you want, you can have a pleasant memory. Whenever you want, you can have these great thoughts that we're going to be prescribing to you, optimal thoughts for optimal health. Is that good or what, that you have that power? But you got to also tell a person the thoughts that pop into your mind do not define who you are. You're getting all these worried thoughts about your health, your life. That's natural, but it's not you. You didn't choose it. You're the thoughts you choose to have. Oh, okay. So you're really a wellness warrior, or you're really a well-wisher. That's who you are. You're not this worrywart that's scared out of our brains, scared out of our mind, or scared out of your mind. No, you're a wellness warrior, disciple of honor. That's your true identity, because those are the thoughts you're choosing. Now, the negative thoughts sometimes are more powerful, often more powerful than the positive. But in the long run, if somebody's doing these thoughts 3 times a day, the negative ones come less often. And when they do come, oh, God, I'm dying. And then, I'll be fine, I'm grateful, thank you, God. You can go, I'll be fine, I'm grateful, I'll be fine, I'm grateful, thank you, God. I'll be fine, I'm grateful, thank you, God. It's going to just make me stronger. It's like a whisper, but in the long run, the whisper will win. Well, I just want to strangle this guy, I can't stand him. I wish you well. I wish you well. In the long run, the well-wishing will win. And what you'll find is that over time, the negative thoughts will come less often. They'll come, but a lot less often. As a matter of fact, they'll come so infrequently that when they come, you go, whoa, I forgot to even get this way. Oh my God, I forgot about this. But then we have the 25 laws of honor, which I went over before. Just to go over real quickly, I refuse to react to negativity. I'll only respond to your vulnerability. That's a great one to prescribe to people. I refuse to react to negativity. I'll only respond to your vulnerability. I always use the example of the child, a 2-year-old comes up to you and says, I hate you, I hate you. You know, say, you brat, you poop in your diaper and you're telling me you hate me. Heck, I hate you. No, you don't do that. You say, come here, Mijo. Come here, sweetheart. I love you. I love you. So you're responding to the vulnerability, not their negativity. The same would apply if somebody's 2, 22, or 102. Say, I refuse to react to negativity. I'll only respond to your vulnerability. Beneath everybody's negativity is vulnerability. Beneath everybody's negativity is vulnerability. Beneath their anger, beneath their indifference, beneath their aloofness is vulnerability. They feel hurt, humiliated, neglected, abandoned, inferior, intimidated, disrespected, overwhelmed, always. So why would you want to get, if you can, you don't want to be caught up in reacting to the negativity, just like you wouldn't want to be caught up with that 2-year-old reacting to tell me he hates you. You respond to vulnerability, come here, Mijo, I love you, come here. I love you, dog. Come here, it's okay, sweetheart. In some sense, you want to be doing that with your spouse or whomever. I refuse to react to negativity. I don't respond to vulnerability. I love you. It's very powerful. And many people have never even told anybody that. I love you. It's a good, but it starts with the thought, I love you. Repeat it throughout the day. All things work for good for those who seek the good. or all things work, more scripturally based, all things work for good for those who love the Lord. I rise to the struggle always. I keep my word always. God, if you wish me to lose everything, then I wish to lose everything. God, if you wish me to gain great abundance, then I wish to gain great abundance. I added a third one to that. God, if you have no preference, then I wish for great happiness, money, and longevity. God can't have a preference over it. Whether I move my hand this way or that way, it's highly unlikely God has a preference. God will certainly have a preference, whatever your religious orientation, that you respond with nobility, with forgiveness, and with optimism, and getting strength from your hardships. But certainly doesn't matter whether you go this way or that way with your hand. And so there may not even be a preference whether you have wealth, health. So that's why I've added that one. If you have no preference, Lord, then I would prefer health, long life, a lot of money. But if you want me to lose it all, then I want to lose it all. I will now. That's one. As you can see, some of these have been applied to the 4 laws for optimal health for the wellness warrior. I seek to uplift and inspire my loved ones and the world through my legacy. I'll follow all negative reactions immediately with positive self-talk. So you get negative reaction. I just can't stand this guy. Yeah, but I wish you well. It's got to be right away. Let me tell you something. If your patient goes 5 minutes into a negative thought, I get that guy. I know where he lives. I'm going to give him a flat tire. I've got a knife. I know where it is. I'm going to go. He goes 5 minutes in. He's not coming out. He's not going to come out for hours, maybe days. I follow all negative reactions immediately with positive self-talk. It's got to be really quick. As soon as it starts up, go, wait a minute. Whoa, I wish you well. Yeah, I'm going to cut his tires. I can know where he lives. No, I wish you well. You got to go to that constructive thought, and you've already given people the constructive thoughts in terms of the laws of honor, the 4 commandments of honor, the wellness warrior thoughts. I will follow all negative reactions immediately with positive self-talk. What better self-talk is there than I wish you well? Or I take full responsibility for co-creating this situation, which is probably true. I'll be fine, I'm grateful. Thank you, God, which is one of the laws for the wellness warrior. I refuse to allow you to control my anger, ever. I've developed that one to overcome road rage, where people get very angry at other people on the road. And then that's part of the cure. I refuse to allow you to control my anger, ever. I'll say, hey, do you want to turn control over just any people you're calling idiots that cut you off on the road? You want to turn that control over to them and make you into a raving lunatic? It's like saying, I don't care if you're 17 or 77, I'll let any one of you make me into a raving lunatic. How many of you want to turn that control over the people you're calling idiots? No one. How many of you want to keep that control for yourself? 100% say, yeah, I want the control for me. Well, I refuse to allow you to control my anger, ever. So that's one of the laws of honor. It's not about me. It's not personal. Probably 95% of the times you get upset with somebody, that person, it wasn't about you. It was nothing personal. It's just that guy's having a bad day, or they're just abrasive personalities. Usually it's not personal. 95%. Once in a while it's really personal, but it's rare. So the thought, it's not about me. It's nothing personal. Now, I'm hoping you younger people can learn this earlier. I didn't catch on until my 70s. I developed a system to cure myself of these things, and that's how I've been able to help my patients enormously. And now I'm bringing it to the medical profession for you to prescribe it to your patients. It took me 45 years to really put this together. Now, this is particularly a good one. I release you to your destiny, and I wish you well. It's particularly good when splitting up in a relationship, which can be like a death. I release you to your destiny, and I wish you well. It'll be very sad, but that's the letting go process. I release you to your destiny, and I wish you well. It will happen in God's time, not mine, or it will happen in its own time, not mine. And that helps with patience. You realize, it's not going to happen when I want it to happen. This is going to happen in its own time, or if you want to use God in it, it'll happen in God's time, not mine. You can use either God in there. All these have an alternative with God or without it. This is not just for believers, it's for non-believers as well. Just like all things work for good for those who seek the good, but for believers it could be all things work for good for those who love the Lord. I'll be fine, I'm grateful, or I'll be fine, I'm grateful. Thank you, God. So justice will prevail. One of the things that upsets people enormously is feeling they've been treated unjustly. I got to tell you, I see a lot in the workplace, a lot of abuse of power, and the thought justice will prevail. In the long term, justice will prevail. It does. I see it time and time again. The old saying, what goes around comes around, bad karma, it's true. Justice will prevail. I have the right to be who I really am as long as the expression of my true self is done in a respectfully real manner. Now, respectfully real is a key part of the Nerenberg legacy therapy model. Respectfully real communication, because our words have a tremendous effect on our health and other people's health. So being real might go like this: hey, you know, bro, I think you're stupid and ugly. I don't even like you. I don't even want to see you again. Just being real. Dr. Nerenberg told me to be real, which I never did, but Dr. Nerenberg told me to be real. So the real thought is, but I have to be respectfully real. Might go like this: when you said what you did, I felt hurt. If you could find it in your heart to apologize, I'd be grateful. That takes courage to do that. A lot of people don't have the courage to go there, but that takes more courage than to tell the person off or punch them in the face figuratively or literally. More courage. Hey, well, I felt hurt, bro. If you could apologize, I'd be grateful. That's a real man. More than punching him or yelling at him. Felt hurt. Now, if the person's getting disrespectful, still say, hey, I'm talking to you with respect. I'd appreciate you showing me the same courtesy. So respectfully real builds a bridge or a connection. Real typically very often builds a wall or a barrier. So we're building a bridge or a connection. And so you have the right to be who you really are. That's very healing in itself. Most people are trying to be somebody else, trying to be a sports star, or a great athlete, or a politician, or a movie star. A lot of people are following movie scripts, trying to be a movie star. Scripts for movies, following that. So, but you have the right to be who you really are as long as the expression of your true self is done in a respectfully real manner. That is with kindness, wisdom, and respect to boundaries. So you have that right. And you know what? Most people have never had it told to them you have the right to be who you are. The message has always been, no, don't be that way. Don't be you. No, don't be you. Don't be you. You got to be like them. You got to be like me or them. No, don't be like you. Be that. He said, no, you have the right to be who you really are as long as the expression of your true self is done in a respectfully real manner. You don't want somebody, if they're obnoxious, to be their obnoxious selves. Yes, if you're obnoxious, be obnoxious. You have that right. No. As long as it's done in a respectfully real manner. What promotes the most constructive expression known to man? What is it? How do you achieve that respectful communication? I want to tell you. It's these thoughts. These optimal thoughts for optimal health are what we call respectfully real thoughts. If you're having thoughts like, I love you, I wish you well, and so forth, all these other thoughts, that's what makes you very inclined to speaking in a respectfully real manner. If you think, I hate your guts, I really hate you, oh, good to see you, guy. You're a hypocrite. But if you're going, I can't stand you, well, wait a minute, I love you, I wish you well, hey, it's good to see you. Then you're being genuine because you've been wishing him well in your thoughts. These thoughts are going to then allow you to speak in a respectfully real manner. And when you speak to people, when we're talking to our patients and we talk to them with kindness, with love, and with respect, it has a healing effect. When people talk down to their patients or in an adverse way, with a harsh tone, this causes harm. So it should always be with kindness, because the kind word has a healing effect. The kind word is based on a kind thought, and we're talking about the kindest thoughts in the world. A kind word is healing. If somebody says something bad to you, it can make you sick. When people insult you or say something that offends you, you can not sleep all night thinking, why did he say that to me? Oh, God, he said that to me. That's not the first time. People can really get really despondent over a thought. It can cause the heart to wither, or it can give life to your words. And your words are based on these thoughts. So you want to have that respectful communication. Now, in terms of respect, honor and respect go together. We have a law of honor called extreme respect always. Humanity, people have always wanted to be treated respectfully, to give respect and to receive respect. I don't care if you're talking about the worst criminal or a saint. It's always been from the beginning of time to the end of time. People want to be treated with respect. Treat them with respect, they're more likely to treat you with respect. If they don't treat you with respect, then you got to say, hey, I'm talking to you respectfully, right? Appreciate the same courtesy you talk to me with respect. So we're talking extreme respect. Extreme respect. It's powerful. Extreme respect always. So that becomes a way of life. Now, for many of you, this next law of honor, there are many people who have never said these words. Many of you have never said these words. I apologize, please forgive me. I apologize, please forgive me. Many of you have never said it. But you have to know the two types of apology. So that thought, when you're repeating, when you use that law of honor and you're repeating that, if that's one of the laws you want to practice on, that makes you more prone to saying it, because first you think it, and it makes it easier to say it. Just like I love you, you're saying it to yourself, I love you, you're more likely to be able to say it. And I've seen people choose that law of honor, I love you, and then start saying it to their spouse, and I've seen relationships transform, really transformed by it. Starting off with that thought. I apologize, please forgive me. You can say, I apologize, please forgive me, I was wrong, I made a mistake, I'm at fault. But the other kind of apology is, apologize, please forgive me, I meant no harm, I'm sorry I upset you. You're not saying it's your fault. In fact, it could be that person's fault. They took the words in the wrong way. Hey, I apologize that you got upset. I'm sorry. I really am. Please forgive me. So you're asking forgiveness, so it takes the pain out of their heart. And you didn't say you did something wrong. Say, I'm sorry it upset you. If I knew what upset you, I wouldn't have said it. I apologize. I really do. So a lot of you don't want to apologize often because you feel, it's not my fault. Why should I apologize? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to apologize. Yeah, if you're thinking about that first application, apologizing when you're wrong, but the second type you haven't thought about. You're apologizing that the person got upset. You're not saying you did anything wrong. Very powerful. Particularly like in a marriage, the two most powerful statements are I love you and I'm sorry. Those get you far in marriage or any intimate relationship. I love you, I'm sorry. I love you, 3 words. I'm sorry. You know the mileage you get from that in terms of harmony in a relationship and the healing? Can you feel the power of that? The healing that brings into relationships? It's powerful. So these are some of the laws of honor. Now, in relationships, this brings about a very bad thing when there's a seduction. You're married or you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's a monogamous relationship, and there's this energy going on with somebody. And although you're not doing anything, the thoughts are going on, the energy is going on. And it's a betrayal. It's a betrayal. And certainly if the spouse or the boyfriend or girlfriend saw it, they're going to be pretty upset. You're talking to her for 10 minutes, you'll laugh. What's up? You want to go to bed with her? What is this? That kind of creating of jealousy creates sickness. I mean, it really just, if the person gets angry, they can have a heart attack, or they're not going to eat, they're not going to sleep, they're not going to forget it. And even if the person's not there, you're betraying them in private. So one way to deal with that energy, sometimes it's just there, is God is sufficient unto me, and my significant other, my spouse is sufficient unto me. God is sufficient unto me, my spouse is sufficient unto me. You're saying, I don't really need this person. God is sufficient, this person is sufficient, my wife is, my husband. And so you're not feeding it. The whole idea is you're not feeding the seduction, which in this case is betrayal. You're not talking about 2 single people hooking up. You're talking about people committed in a relationship, betraying through that energy. And that leads to a lot of consequences that can be dangerous psychologically and spiritually. Now, most people are just running around, just constantly on it, go boom, 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 boom. Just not. And so this thought, or this law of honor is, I'm here now, right now. Enjoy the moment. I am here now, right now. Enjoy the moment. Depression typically has to do with events that happened in the past. Anxiety, for the most part, has to do with something you're dreading in the future. But when you go, I'm here now, right now, for that moment, people can leave their anxieties and depression, at least for the moment. I'm here now, right now, enjoy this moment. Not, I have to deal with this, I'm going to have to deal with that. Right now, I'm here now, right now. I always tell people vacation is not a location, it's a state of mind. To the extent you're in a peace, you're at harmony, that's a vacation. You could pay $10,000 to go fly to Italy. You fight with your spouse the whole time, that's no vacation. Italy wasn't the vacation. Italy is a state of mind. If you wake up and you're so happy to see your spouse, you love that person so much, that's a vacation, you know. Oh, you're here. I'm so happy to see you. So great to wake up and see you. That's beautiful. I love you. It's great to be with you. That's a vacation. It's a state of mind. So I'm here now, right now. Now, particularly when dealing with medical situations, the person has to, there's no way around it, they have to deal with their deaths, the possibility of their death. Not that they're going to die, but particularly you're going to surgery, or you're getting pain over the heart, you know, you're getting angina a lot, or you're getting some funny things going on, you wonder about cancer, which is common, people wonder. You got to go, you need to know when to prescribe this thought. After a long, healthy life, I welcome the power I will gain through my death and the power that will be released to others. After a long, healthy life, I welcome the power I will gain through my death and the power that will be released to others. So the whole idea, particularly if you're a believer, you feel it's going to be good for me. I mean, I'm going on. It's going to be great. It's going to be tough for you. You're going to be left without me. I weep for your loss. I mean, you're going to not have me, but I'm going to something better. So that's the power I'm going to gain. And you need to know that the good that you did, the great things that you said, the great things that you did, when you leave, people will see it more clearly. Say, wow, he did all these things. She was a great human being. When the person was alive, people didn't appreciate it. Now she's dead, or now he's dead. They go, you know, my father always said this, or he always said that. She always would say this. Those words become like jewels, like gems. You're always quoting them. So the good that you've done will be magnified when you leave this earth. You've seen it. You've seen people die, and you've seen how much more you treasured them, and the good they did, how much more you appreciated it, right? You appreciated them so much more. So that the good when you leave and when I leave is going to be more powerfully felt by those left behind. So that's a good thing, right? I welcome the power I'll gain through my death and the power that will release to others. You're going to lose me, but in a way you're going to have me more than ever. I know when my father died, I was very close to my father, but his words and his posture and everything about him was so alive in me for a long time after he passed. You have that, the people will have you more. They'll have us more after we die. More, not less, more for a period of time. More. And we're going to go on to something even better. If we saw how great it is on the other side, none of us would even want to stay here. It's so beautiful on the other side. So this is one thought. You have to, of course, use your judgment as medical practitioners, one to prescribe this thought. But you know what? People have to have the exposure to it. Now, a worse one is someone you love, and God forbid, a child. Oh, God, that's the worst loss, burying a child, burying a loved one, particularly a child. That's nothing. That's got to be one of the worst torments, one of the biggest losses. God forbid, none of us should go through that. But we got to go here, too, when this is happening. There's no way around it. After a long, healthy life, I welcome the power that my loved one will gain through his death and the power that will be released. Because the loved one's going on to something much better. And we're going to appreciate that person so much more. We all will. Everybody that knew that person will appreciate that. You can even have somebody who did terrible things, but they did a couple of good things that will be very appreciated when they leave. They'll hardly even remember a lot of the bad things. That's pretty typical. That one's a tough one, but we need some way of dealing with these reality. Now, one way of overcoming selfishness, which many of us are, is your needs and your reality are far more important to me than mine. Your needs and your reality are far more important to me than mine. That gets us out of this total self-centeredness, which many of us are prone to. And that's very healing in itself, because then we're not taking things so personally. We're hearing the other person, and that creates a healthier relationship, which makes a healthier you. And then, of course, gratitude is in itself very healing. I'm extremely grateful, or I'm extremely grateful. Thank you, God. Not just grateful, but extremely grateful. You look at it. Every problem we have, there's a million of blessings. I have this finger, that finger, that finger, that finger, this side, that. You can go on and on for years. It's all that we have. And the cause of all stress is loss of that perspective. Oh, I see the nature of life. It's that problem. I lost my job. I've got this. I have this disease. That's the whole universe. And it's going, no, yeah, that's true, but there's so much more. So a lot of times you're not telling yourself the full story. So the art of the whole legacy therapy model is this: how to tell yourself the best true story about your worst problem. I got to say it again. How to tell yourself the best true story about your worst problem. Not a make-up story, your true story. Give you an example. I had a patient, big guy. He was called a roughneck because he worked in the oil fields. Big, tatted-up guy, powerful. He said, Doc, I lost everything. My wife left me for another man. It was horrible. Took my kids. I didn't even see my kids. And then I lost my house. I've lost everything. And I said, I feel a lot of compassion for you. This is terrible suffering, a terrible loss. I said, but for such a powerful-looking man, that's a very wimpy story. He said, what? I said, yeah, it's a very wimpy story. That just makes people feel sorry for you. You feel sorry for yourself. What if I told you that's only part of the story? The rest of the story will give you dignity and nobility and uplift you. He says, really? I said, yeah. I said, what is that rest of that story? The rest of that true story is, I've lost everything, but I've gained myself. That's true. Actually, I did gain myself. I've lost everything, but I did gain myself. And he just lit up, was instantly healing. Yeah, I did gain myself. I say, that's the full story. You did lose everything, but I've gained myself. And he did that. He lit up, and I said, behold, a real man is born before me. I went up to him and I hugged him and I said, I'm proud of you. So these are ways where you're helping your patients as medical practitioners tell themselves the best true stories about their worst problem. It's a beautiful thing we're doing for our people. Thoughts are medicine. Prescribing these thoughts are the best medicine that you can give. In addition to the other interventions you're doing, you want to be adding the thoughts. Absolutely, you want to be adding the thoughts. Now I'm going to take a few minutes. People don't have a microphone, but I'll get your comments, your question, and make a comment. We just have a few minutes left. So I'll repeat whatever you say, whatever question you have. So the idea of prescribing these thoughts, at least what are your thoughts about the idea of prescribing thoughts, optimal thoughts for optimal health?
I think that they would be useful, especially on an everyday basis.
You think they were useful on an everyday basis?
The inclination is to think negatively about whatever you're going through.
The inclination is to think negatively about whatever we're going through, and that's true. The natural inclination is to think negatively, to look for the negatives. That just pops, our mind goes there. But with this training and repeating these thoughts at least 3 times a day, you'll find yourself being just swimming in an ocean of positivity. You see that happening. That's a very good point. What are your thoughts about prescribing, Joe, about optimal thoughts for optimal health?
Well, it's helped me throughout.
It's helped you.
The day, I repeat them 3 or 4 times.
You're repeating 3 or 4 times. It's helping you.
4 hours, and it helps a lot. I think it will help any other patient.
So what would you say has been the main benefit, you as a disciple of honor, what would you say the main benefit has been?
Peace, respect for other people.
You have more peace and respect for other people. Patrick, you took the pledge to be a disciple of honor. What would you say the main benefit, if any, has been for you?
Co-creating, or God, your wish is my only wish, and then co-creating my reality.
So taking those thoughts in what way has that benefited you, if at all?
Well, it stops pointing the finger at others.
To stop you from blaming others, and that's been a good thing for you, not blaming the other people. Yeah. So these are a few people who've taken the pledge to be disciple. What have been your thoughts of being you've taken the pledge to be a disciple of honor, right? Yeah. What has been, if any benefit for you, has there been any benefit for you, what is it?
A lot.
It's been a lot, especially what?
God, your wish is my only
Especially God, your wish is my only wish. What has that done for you? What benefit has that brought you?
Well, I was really negative before.
You were very negative before, and now how are you?
Now it's like I see things different.
So it gave you a different perspective, and that's been a benefit. Ruby, you being a disciple of honor, what benefit, if any, have you gained from that?
It's transformed my life.
It's transformed your life.
The biggest benefit for me is my reaction to the way I react to people.
It's changed how you react to people? In what way?
And that I'm not on the defensive.
You're not as defensive.
Not as defensive, yeah.
Not-
There's moments, when I
So you're not as defensive. Anything else?
and good story is that I've gained myself. I've gained who I am.
You've gained who you are more.
And
So you're telling yourself better stories?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that you're telling yourself better stories?
Better stories. Yeah, in the middle of loss of jobs and whatever, I've gained who I am, and I see things better perspective.
So better perspective. That's pretty. A lot of people feel better perspective with these laws and commandments.
World,
The what?
not just in my own little world.
You see, so you have a bigger perspective. You're not just as trapped in your own little world.
So it empowers me, and I
So you feel
a lot stronger.
you feel empowered and you're a lot calmer.
Yeah, stronger.
It's a lot stronger. That's a lot. So you're just hearing some of the people that I've talked to have taken the pledge and the benefits they've had. And it's been truly my privilege to be a part of these journeys that people are talking about. And you as medical practitioners will have the same honor to do that with your patients. So it's been my privilege, my honor to have this time with you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.